Hey everybody, turn this off for a sec. John with Vermont Homesteader, and today I'm making soap. And we have some water, some lye, another bowl. That bowl is going to be for the oils. We have the oils on the oven right now. They are melting into a liquid, and then vanilla essential oil. And so what we needed to do was get 32 ounces of oil and get that on the stove to start melting it to a liquid form. Here's the oil, and it's all liquefied. It was solid. I got half of it is coconut oil, of course organic. Half of it is beef tallow, also organic. We combine the two, it's about 16 ounces of each, 32 ounces total. I'm going to drain that into here when I'm ready, and it's got to go through a filter of some type. I'm going to use this strainer. That's what I'm going to use to strain the oil into that bowl. You got to be precise on these numbers. So like I said, 32 ounces of liquid oil. This is exactly 4.34 ounces of sodium hydroxide, aka lye. And then this is exactly 12.16 ounces of water. And I'm going to keep mixing. You always mix the lye into the water. You don't ever pour the water into the lye. That's a no-no. Don't do that. It'll make a sudden, violent, foaming reaction which will burn you. It'll be a chemical burn. So you always put the lye into the water very slowly. And we'll get back to that right now. So like I said, we're just pouring a little bit of this lye in at a time, taking a whisk and mixing it. For the purposes of hearing me, I don't have my fan on, but you should have your fan on because this can make some fumes, and you want to inhale as little as that as possible. Most people will do this outside, but being that it's 20 degrees out, it's winter time, I'm doing this on top of the range top underneath the fan here. I'm doing it so slowly though that there's not really a lot of fumes, so I'm going to turn my fan off so that you can hear me better. And as you can see, I'm doing very little at a time, and that's what's really helping with the fumes. And this will burn your skin, so you really, you want a stable platform to do this on. You don't want distractions, kids, pets. Something you got to pay attention to. So I'm going to keep doing this until I've gotten all the rest of this sodium hydroxide, aka lye, totally dissolved in this water, and we want the water to be clear before we go on to our next step. So I'll see you back here in a few minutes. Okay, so I'm back. It's not perfectly clear yet, but we're getting there. But you can see that there's no granular lye in the bottom. So we're going to continue to let that clear up. I mean, it's never going to be perfectly clear like drinking water, but as clear as possible. And now, I took the oil. I got that ready to go. I took the oil off the heat just for a second. And now we're going to put it through the strainer. We want to make sure we get all the particulate matter out of the oil. There's always some, not a lot. There we have that, our 32 ounces of liquid oil. Some cautions on this. Never use aluminum. I prefer glass with as much as possible. Lye will react with aluminum, it'll melt it. It'll scar it, it'll melt it, it'll create a bad situation for you. So I do use a stainless steel whisk, but that's it. Now that this is dissolved, we're going to slowly pour it into the oil, and then we're going to blend it up, put our essential oil in, and then dump it in a mold. That's what we're going to do right off here. Okay, here we go. We're going to slowly take this lye water and pour it into the oil. And you can see it's bubbling up, so we're going to do this real slow. It's also making it cloudy. It's having a reaction with it. I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me get down here where you can see that. Watch. Bubbles right up. And we are making soap. But you want to do this slowly. And I'm going to keep going at this nice and slow. And I'm going to turn my fan on and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so we have all the lye water mixed in here. Now we're going to take an immersion blender and we're going to blend it up. Nice and slow. You don't want to keep it on steady. And you want to get it to the consistency of pudding. Here with this. This is also where you're going to enter in with the essential oils, however much you want. And this is kind of experimental here. It all depends on how strong you want it to smell. I'm putting 4 dropperfuls in here. And then we're going to go back to mixing it up. Remember to keep that immersion blender in here or it will splash out. And you really don't want this stuff splashing around yet. Some people will wear goggles too. You may want to, because if you mess up this immersion blender, it'll splash into your eyes. We're getting pretty close to pudding here. Still a little liquid. Once we get it to a pudding consistency, which we're getting close, it's starting to thicken up, we're going to pour it into this mold. And then it's going to sit for 48 hours while it hardens, and then I'll come back in 48 hours, we're going to dump it out of the mold, and then we're going to cut it into bars, and then we're going to let the bars sit for 6 weeks. The reason it has to sit for 6 weeks is because you want the lye to dissipate in the soap. You want the lye strong enough to clean you, not Not enough to burn you. Yep, smells vanilla. I think I'm going to add 2 more droppers full. We're going to go with 6 droppers full. And you can use, I'm using vanilla, but you can use any essential oil you want, whatever you like your soap to smell like. Looks like pudding. This bowl's pretty hot from the reaction. I'll come back to you in 2 days. See, that's full. I don't want to tilt it because it'll come out. But it is full. And we're going to come back in 2 days and it should be hard as a rock. And I'll show you what we do next. Hey everyone, it's been 48 hours and here's our soap. It's in a big brick, just like we did when we poured it in. I didn't catch it on video, but the brick I did of soap, after I turned the video off, it separated. The oil separated from the solids, and it started to have a reaction. So I'm not sure exactly what happened. I'm not sure if it was too cool when I mixed it or if I didn't mix it enough. But basically I took this and I dumped it back into the pot, heated it back up, kept mixing it for a little while longer, poured it back in, and it came out perfect. So what you do is you get a piece of parchment paper. I always write the date and I write the particular recipe of soap that I made, because you can make, use different oils. In this one I did tallow and coconut and 6 droppers of vanilla extract, but you can do different oils. You can use olive oil, olive coconut, whatever you want. And you can also use different amounts of essential oil and different essential oils. So it's just you just have to experiment with it, like a lot of things we do when we're homesteading, making food or making soap. Some things you can't experiment with, like the amount of water and lye and the quantity of oil. Those need to be consistent. But the types of oil and the types of essential oil for an odor on your soap can be different. So we dumped it out of the hard one. Now we pulled it out of the soft mold. We'll put those away for the next time we make it. And there we go. Look at that. Nice big bar of soap. It smells like vanilla. So what you want to do here is, I have a special cutter, but quite honestly you could use a spatula, you could use a knife. This one has little grooves in it, makes neat little grooves. And you go about 1 inch of soap at a time, which this parchment paper has lines on it, so it makes it kind of easy to do that. And you just push straight down and it cuts it. So the end one has a flat side. A lot of people won't sell the ends because they're not grooved on both sides, but this one's grooved on both sides. I don't know if you can see that, the grooves. And after you cut it all, we're going to keep cutting here. I do 1 inch blocks of soap. You can do bigger or smaller, whatever you want. And then when they're all done, I'm just gonna bring this parchment paper downstairs to the basement, and I'm gonna lay the soap out for 4 to 6 weeks, and that's so the bulk of the lye will evaporate and it won't be too caustic on your skin. And that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll have 10 bars of soap in 4 to 6 weeks. I usually let it go 6 weeks, but everybody's different. Again, it's just something you got to experiment with. But that is a homemade bar of soap that'll keep you plenty clean. And that'll do it. Maybe we'll do another one with some different flavors, different quantities, and maybe I'll show you how you can, if you're going to sell these, you'd maybe wrap them, put a little square rectangular piece of paper in here with your information for your business. You can also use different dyes, and you can change the color up. And if you, the different oils, they will change the color as well. So, you know, you can experiment, do a lot of different things with soap, but this is basically how you do it. If you like this video, like, subscribe, and share. Leave a comment if you have some different ideas, and we'll see you next time. Vermont Homesteader.